kept her apprised.
All right, so we're going to call our Charleston County Magistrate Oversight Committee meeting to order. The members of the committee are Senator Margie Bright Matthews, Senator Sen Sin, myself, and Councilman Rob Werman. We also have Chief Magistrate Joanna Summy, as well as Associate Chief Magistrate Richard Singleton Brown. I believe we have all online or in the room except Senator Bright Matthews, but we will await her appearance. In the meantime, we are going to go ahead and get started. We do have a couple of people that are here with us, so if you all would just state your names for the record so that folks know you're in the room. Starting with Ms. Grant.
I'm Christine Durant, Deputy County Administrator, Charleston County.
Phyllis Williams, Deputy Director, Court Administration, Charleston County.
Jerice Jordan, Director, Summary Court Administration.
Sonia Jones, Executive Director, Charleston County Legislative Delegation.
Great. Well, first, thank you all so much for being here at 3 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. We really appreciate it. And second, I just want to say thank you so much to Court Administration, to Jerice, to Sonia for helping us get this coordinated, to our clerk who's also here, as well as our attorney, Ed Nisley, who's here. So you guys have done an incredible job putting this together under the very capable leadership of Judge Summy. So I am going to entertain a motion for our last meeting minutes.
So move to approve the minutes of May 13th, 2019.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion or revisions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? All right, we have them approved. At this time, I am going to turn our agenda over to Judge Summy, who is going to walk through some of the items that we will be discussing today.
All right, so first we want to talk about the reassignments that were done at the last appointment by the Senate. We are reassigning, and so, and let me also say that these reassignments, the way that it's been worked out is going to cost $0 to the county. I need to nominate chairman first.
Do we
I need to nominate the first.
do it procedurally?
I would like to nominate.
Do we need to move the chair?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, I would not like to nominate Councilwoman Jenny Henry.
Second.
Any other nominees? Nominations are closed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All of us. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Okay. And this will be at a zero cost with the reallocation of hours. We are reassigning Magistrate Associate Chief Richard Singleton Brown to the vacant North Area Small Claims position that was previously held by James Turner. That is a 40-hour position. We are reassigning Magistrate Laura Beck to the vacant City Small Claims position that was held by Henry Garrard. It's been vacant for several years. That is a 40-hour position. We are eliminating Judge Beck's position out of bond court, which was part-time, and we are transferring those 20 hours to Judge Amanda Hazelton, making her the full-time bond court magistrate, which is a 40-hour position. We're going to eliminate Magistrate Frank McCann's position, which was 16 hours, and we're transferring them to Judge Harris, Stephen Harris, making him a full-time 40-hour James Island magistrate. Okay. We are going to transfer Magistrate Lauren Fox, who originally was stated that she was appointed to small claims. We're transferring her to North Area 2, a position that was vacated. Ma'am.
Oh, good afternoon, Senator Bright Matthews. Thank you for joining us.
I'm sorry. I have people in my office doing.
Okay.
Don't worry. I told him you'd be late.
Welcome, welcome. We're just going through some of the reallocations so that we can explain on the record here what the allocation is going to be.
I'm up to speed.
Okay. All right. And so we're going to take Lauren Fox and we're going to put her at North Area 2. That position was originally 15 hours. We are reallocating 1 hour to Judge Amy Michael, and that position was made vacant by moving Judge Singleton Brown into the full-time North Area Small Claims. With that move, that makes Judge Michael of North Area 1 go from 39 to 40-hour position. We are reducing the hours of Magistrate Tiffany Span Wilder from 24 to 21 with her agreement and transferring those hours to Cheryl Perry of Ravenel, making her a full-time magistrate. The remaining 1 hour is transferred to Judge Martell Morrison's position. And we're going to talk about the Adams Run allocation here in a second. We are eliminating Magistrate Nick Clekus's position because he retired. And we are transferring those 20 hours to Judge Morrison. And instead of it being at the Adams Run Magistrate Court, I would like to allocate those hours to North Area Small Claims due to the caseload and the need for a larger small claims docket and judge position. And therefore, with these changes, that left several hours that we needed to ask for 7. Okay, and then after speaking with Councilwoman Honeycutt and looking at it, we had 15 hours that were left open from weekends. Okay, Judge Kinney was not reappointed, and we decided we're going to rotate judges through there. What we're going to do is we're going to take those 7 hours from that weekend position and reduce the weekend bond court hours to 8. Okay, and I'll explain the logistics of that in a second. But what that will do is that will, instead of being a $21,000 with fringe benefit increase for the county, and that is per month or per pay period? Pay period. It's going to be at a $0 cost, which is more fiscally responsible. What we can do with the hours that for the weekend is we will have 8, okay? And the judges that are rotating, typically we are there 10 hours, sometimes 12. But what we're going to do is just say, hey, you are working bond court for that weekend. It's 4 hours per day or 8-hour pay. If you have any additional hours after that, on a Friday, if that's your admin day, you can go ahead and leave it 3 or something like that. It's important while we pay these magistrates for working the weekend, they need to understand fiscally this is what needs to be done. Okay, it's just like waking up in the middle of the night for an hour, signing a warrant is part of our job duties. Okay, and we did have a new magistrate position or appointment of Lauren Fox. She is starting August 1st. She's already come to my court and started training, and she's attended. She will be attending a magistrate school starting next week for 2 weeks. And since the last meeting, Judge Amy Rothschild was appointed as the full-time position in West Ashley. She's already up and running and doing a fantastic job. So.
Excellent. I believe that addresses the agenda items for the changes and increase relating to the hours that we had. Now, obviously, we're a little late to this because our budgets have already been approved, and so we were working. One of the things I have asked our clerk if we could do is go ahead and have an annual meeting compliant with the state law that requires us to submit our hours or our positions to the state before 90 days, the 90-day requirement, and that would fall somewhere in February, March, I believe. And so going forward, we'd like to meet with Judge Summey, whoever the chief admin would be, and go over this so that we're never caught behind if we need to make any types of adjustments like this. We also are very proud of the staff working so hard to get us to a net neutral hour so that it didn't really upset any of the budgetary issues that we have right now. So thank you guys so much for being willing to have these discussions and go through this with us. And then also, there is one magistrate position, East Cooper, that we will be awaiting Senate confirmation, and at that point, that seat will also be filled. But I think that addresses all of the agenda items we have. Madam Clerk, do we need a motion that carries over to finance?
I do think you need.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, can we have some discussion?
Absolutely.
You need a motion.
Okay, great. So a few things that I noticed was.
Senator Sen, before we go into the discussion, we need a motion on the table to discuss. That was.
Okay.
So
I moved to discuss.
So moved.
all right. Well, I think that is the motion not to approve the allocation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to approve the allocation. That's.
A second.
only item
What,
one.
but we
The
might need
motion
some
on the
discussion
floor
on that.
is- Well, yeah, we just need a motion in a second. So we have a motion to approve these allocations and then a second and now discussion. So Senator Sin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So a couple of things I heard concern me, and I want to make sure everybody is understanding. And when I say all this, I'm saying same thing you have said, Councilmember Honeycutt, that our staff has been fantastic, county staff, everybody. But there are several things we do need to talk about. Now, I've listened to Judge Summey, and I did hold back some hours. I knew that there were some additional hours. I sort of left those there for managerial purposes because you did have, for instance, Martell working overtime sometimes, and then you had other judges that weren't working their hours. So I sort of left that there as a cushion so that the county wouldn't be hit. I'm more than happy that everybody gets the 40-hour assignments. I like that idea. We had borrowed 2 hours or 1 hour from several magistrates with their consent, not knowing at the time that Senate Finance was prepared to pass what I believe is a recurring proviso that would give full-time magistrates a nice little pay bump. So we had submitted our information to McMaster, Henry McMaster, and then it got approved before Senate Finance ended up passing the whole budget with that in there. So unfortunately, while the county is graciously going ahead and allocating those hours, it is not going to allow that pay bump until we get back in January and figure out how we're going to correct this. So that is one issue. The other issue is I appreciate Judge Summey saying where these people are going to be allocated, where they're going to be going. That's one of the reasons that we did not, when we reappointed everybody, put in there where they were assigned. Judge Summey has had to reassign people based on their strengths. Some people are better at lawyers or better at civil, and some are better at criminal. I mean, and they don't have to be lawyers. It's just they do a little better in those areas. So we left all of the areas unassigned. So to the extent that she is assigning them, that is her job as chief magistrate. That is not anything that has been done by the Senate or anything of that nature. And the last thing I think two things. I don't know yet. I know that we all signed off on Senator Campson's appointment. And so I'm very surprised that that did not go through. And I know that's got to be hard through January because that's Mount Pleasant. I don't know what happened there, Councilmember Honeycutt. Maybe you do. And one more thing, and I'll turn it on over to you. But and now I'll have to think about what that is. I'm going with no notes here, but there was one thing that Magistrate Fox. Her strong suit is civil, and she does landlord tenant. So I just didn't know that would be totally, again, up to the chief magistrate to decide where she goes. But when she was hired, it was with the understanding, at least in her mind, that she was going to be dealing with something that was her bailiwick, which was landlord tenant.
And that's where Senator Sin, that's where I put her. She's going to be the magistrate with housing court at North Area 2. And in that, she's also showed an interest in bond court. And so she's going to start training, and she will get some criminal and traffic, but she will be the housing court judge for North Area 2.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Senator Sin. And just to address each of those, I mean, the salary adjustment piece, certainly we hope that the Senate will be able to make that retroactive adjustment as soon as they get back into session. I think the allocation, the reason we went through all of that, and I understand the Senate has no role in that, is so that our finance staff know what to pay the various employees in this situation. So, and I know they're kind of quasi-employees of the county, but I think that's the reason we went through that. And again, I think it's extremely admirable that we have, been able to make it a net neutral hours at this point, and we'll certainly kind of keep track of that as we go. As far as Senator Campson's appointee, I did speak with him just before this, and because of the timing, he's simply not been confirmed by the governor, by the legislature yet, and because there's no sine die, what is that? Sine die.
Sine die.
Because it's
Sine
sine die. Y'all keep
die.
coming back. Sine die. Thank you. I'm rusty on my Latin. But because there is no sine die resolution, there is no ability to reconvene at this point. So I guess it'll be taken up. That confirmation will be taken up at the first of the year. So again, and
If I
her
can.
incredibly capable wisdom, they are covering East Cooper Magistrate until he can take office. Yes, Senator Bright Matthews?
Thank you. I echo the sentiments of Senator Sen regarding the efforts that have been taken to get this taken care of regarding the hours. I was worried about it. There was another issue, and I know at the end of session that it seems that the governor's office was overwhelmed trying to get all of the appointments done. I saw an appointment of, I think, Judge Hazelden that said that she was appointed to Richland County. I've sent a letter to try to get that corrected. I'm not sure what's going on there. The other thing is I came in a little late there on how the hours have been allocated. Do you mind sending, maybe sharing that as a part of the Zoom, or either sending it, just have staff send us a copy of it?
Absolutely. But to recap that, every position that wanted to be 40 hours, we were able to meet those requests. And likewise, that leaves us with 11 full-time judges and 7 part-time, which we hope will help court administration because you have more full-time judges who will be attentive to their dockets, and that makes it easier for court administration. So thank you so much for the Senate's efforts in putting those forward as well.
And can I add one thing?
Yeah.
One thing I would like, in this, it's been a year and a half now, we started a centralized domestic violence court downtown to handle the magistrate cases because there was such a backlog in the Ninth Circuit. Solicitor Wilson met with me and asked us to take it and start it back. We have completely cleared the backlog. We had that cleared in about 8 months. And I do that on Mondays along
You're
with
fantastic.
or Judge Laura Beck if I can't get there. So I just wanted to say, within this, we also have a centralized domestic violence court that's fully up and operational and successful.
Yeah, that is
Fantastic.
That is wonderful, wonderful. Any other discussion on the motion on the floor? All right, I'll go ahead. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstaining. All in favor, say aye.
She has to abstain because it's an item of her increase.
All right, and do I have ayes from Senator Sin and Senator Bright Matthews?
Yeah, I guess, but I'm a little confused as to whether we're supposed to do this since it's
I don't
an
think I
official
can
thing.
vote.
We're not really a part of, we're just on this unofficial committee. We're not official county council members.
I think we're just overseers at best.
So,
I wish I could vote on county council matters. I'd break a lot of ties, but
We're turning
I've not normally been asked.
to Attorney Nisley to help guide us on this, because I want to make sure we have a majority vote so that we don't have issues getting this to Finance Council.
Senator Sen, Senator Bright Matthews, this committee was created back in, I believe, 1983 or 1984 in conjunction with the Senate delegation. There was a document created and signed by the Senate delegation that sort of created this ad hoc committee along with council to oversee magistrate matters. And the purpose of it was to give senators a seat at the table, literally here, in these sorts of matters. And it's been since, I think, 1983 or 1984.
1992.
92.
Senators, I have a copy of the memorandum.
Did that committee, in that creation document, did it afford state senators a vote, or were we basically in an advisory capacity?
It gave you a vote. It says the committee comprised of members from the Senate delegation, Charleston County Council, magistrates, and county staff members.
But this is just advisory, right? Y'all are just going to advise the county? I mean, that's where I'm
Council.
confused. I wasn't sure.
Yes,
Council,
ma'am, this just
I was
goes to the
county
council.
council.
It is,
So we're
it
just
is,
voting on the recommendation.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, Margie, I guess we can just recommend something, right?
I'm not gonna vote. I think it violates our oath. I'm not gonna vote. I will abstain, and I just think it's inappropriate. If county council created this document, I get it, but they should still already have a majority. Doesn't have to be unanimous.
As long as we have Senator Sin, we will. Otherwise, it's 3-3, which means it would.
Matt,
No?
Ed,
Who voted?
can you take a
Who
look
opposed
at
it?
the,
Brown can't vote.
look at
She
the
didn't.
prior minutes?
So I abstain from voting for myself.
Well, no, well,
If we need to vote individually, then you definitely have to
Well,
form there.
Good to break out.
My understanding, I believe Judge Singleton Brown is recusing herself because of a conflict, so she would be,
Because she's voting for herself. and
she's
not
away
gonna do
from it.
that,
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Right.
So we trying to
can
run the
somebody
numbers
look
here.
at the minutes? Y'all, I'm in a hotel, and I just really pulled over, got into this hotel so I could get internet. I'm not even staying here, but can I get somebody to look at the prior minutes to see if I voted? Because if I violated my oath, like Margie said, I may have already done it, may as well violate it again, since it's
Yes,
just a
ma'am.
recommendation.
Senator Grooms and you were a part of the last meeting. Is that correct?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Nisley? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I'm gonna vote aye with the caveat that if we have messed up over the years, we need to go back and revisit. I'm gonna ask the county attorney, hopefully via Ed, to meet with Senate staff anyway on some other issues after, sometime before January. So maybe we can figure out whether Margie's concern is correct and I never should have voted last year or this year, but I'll go ahead and vote aye for the time being.
All right, and I would note, Senator Sin, and we'll circulate this document for everybody on the committee so that you can evaluate it with your team, but Senator Fielding co-signed it. So he helped create this ad hoc committee. But certainly we want to make sure that everything we're doing meets all standards. So we will evaluate that. So in addition to the other things that the legal teams are going to meet about, we'll put that on the agenda to ensure that this committee is properly created. In the meantime, all in favor of the motion, it sounds like we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention and 1 recusal, in which case the motion passes. So that will go on to our next finance committee meeting on Thursday. And I believe that's all the business before us. Anything else from anyone?
I do have a request.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a request that maybe Ed, if you would get an advisory opinion from the AG's office regarding that. We had a similar issue come up in one of my other counties. If you could request that, I would really appreciate it. And the other issue that I have, not an issue at all, but just wanted to get a status if maybe Judge Summey or could let us know with that new bond reform bill that passed this and was signed into law this summer. How is that being held in preliminary hearing court and with the magistrates in Charleston County?
Okay.
Have
So
y'all?
I just went to a seminar last Thursday about this, and so we have already started this week rolling that out on the bond reform that y'all did, where cash bonds, for instance, I have notified court administration that they need to update the bond forms for the entire state to add the block that says full cash bond. That was not there, and a lot of them and judges were under the assumption that the jail would know. And as I explained to him, they don't read rap sheets. It's up to the judge to do that. It's up to the judge to do their job. And they need to inform when that is a full cash bond, and they must inform the defendant on record and their legal counsel. So practices like that, we've already started. Until they update the form, we are handwriting it and signing it as the judge. And we are having a meeting. I'm calling a meeting of Charleston County magistrates next week to do some additional bond training and bond updates to make sure we are all on the same page.
Okay, and the reason why I asked, because I know Charleston's one of the few counties, when you go to a preliminary hearing, that they'll, in some circumstances, allow the amendment of bond. How are we gonna, there was an order that Judge Pieper did back in the day that, permitted, that allowed that to go through. How, are y'all gonna talk about how you're gonna merge that system, with,
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
that's okay. Go ahead.
We are no longer doing that. That is only done by the circuit court. We removed that probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay,
Because
good.
yes,
I
ma'am,
was
that was
wondering.
the standard practice. And then we just
Okay.
leave that up to the circuit court.
Okay, good. Okay.
I think that is everything on our agenda. So if there's nothing further, thank you all so much for attending. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch and meeting adjourned.
Thank
you.
you. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.